Oh, buddy. Once again, back with Darkest Files. We're kicking Nazi ass, and the only way we know how. Ace Attorney style. Last suspect. Check my notes.
Last month's motor trends and a Birgit from last year. Wouldn't be my first reading choice, but with how long you have to wait for a prosecutor.
Good morning, Miss Katz. Oh, and there was a letter for you. I left it on your desk. Miss Katz!
Civil codes, Bereichsgesetz, Seneca, and some Franke and Neumann. Quite a collection. Wait, is that a Sachenspiegel? I think Dad had a copy of this edition.
Sachspiegel. A suspect will arrive. Mr. Peters wants to talk to you. The documents from Berlin should be arriving later today. If you need any others, I might still be able to pull a few strings and get them in by the end of the day. Hungary invaded. Sewers aflames. You speak. We know where you live. We know what you do. We are watching day and night. We see you. German people have been doing enough because of them, and like you. You should be burned with the rest of your kind instead of disappearing. Hiding like that's where you belong. Once you get attacked us, so hear us. You'll burn. Finish what we started, beginning with the traitor trash like you. On my path.
Mr. Schickett has just arrived. He's waiting in the conference room.
Mr. Right. Thank you. I'll be right there.
Is everything all right?
It was a threat letter.
A threat? The... Oh. Oh, dear. I'm so sorry.
It's fine, really. Can't say I wasn't warned about this job. Professional risk, right?
Unfortunately. Still, if there is anything I can do, just say the word. Miss Katz, how are you feeling?
Still a bit shocked, if I'm to be honest.
That's to be expected. The first time is always the worst. I just can't imagine why people would... No, right. I do know why, but... Still, the nerve.
You sound like you got a few yourself.
Me? No, luckily I'm just an assistant. Unless you count the generic ones for the entire team. But Peters, Christoph, Mr. Bauer, they all got more than they share.
It's just proof our work here matters. They wouldn't get this angry otherwise.
That's exactly what Christoph says. But right, here we are and the witness is waiting. I'll make sure there's a calming cup of tea ready after you're done. Miss Katz!
And who do you think did it? Any ideas? That's what I thought. Mr. Schickett, I didn't expect you yet.
Arriving on time means you're 15 minutes late.
I'm glad you're so cooperative. Thank you for coming. My name is Esther Katz. I am the prosecutor in charge. I'll cut right to the chase. What happened on the 28th of April back in 45?
So, you're finally reopening the case, aren't you?
You seem excited about this. What is it to you?
Let me put it this way. I still have a score to settle. It is time for some gentleman to answer for what happened back then.
Just to be clear, you are referring to?
Kibitz and local group leader Faltmann.
So, your superior and your colleague. What had happened?
On that day, Faltmann, Kibitz, and I had captured an alleged insurgent. We had taken him to the district office and locked him in a cell. It was an old man.
Was his name Hans Naumann?
It's more than 10 years ago. I'm pretty certain that this was his name, yes.
Please describe the situation.
Shortly after, the two men came out. Pointing to the cells, the district leader gave the command.
What kind of command?
He ordered us to shoot the prisoner.
Can you tell me more about your local group?
We mainly wrote reports and helped in the district where help was needed.
Were there any other prisoners at that time?
No, the old man was the only one that day.
How did the members of your group spend their free time?
They went drinking together. Not me though. I don't drink. I prefer being home early and getting a healthy sleep.
Was it common for prisoners to be executed?
No, we were a local group, not the SS.
Were your group's actions documented?
Certainly, but that wasn't my task. District leader Schwarz took care of it. But
If somebody did stay with Schwarz, it could have been documented somewhere. For how long did Mr. Feitmann talk to Mr. Schwarz?
it was just a short meeting, maybe for a couple of minutes.
How did you fit into this local group?
I have always proudly done my duty. I oversaw security.
How did you and Mr. Kiebitz get along? You both held the same title?
Mr. Kibitz. Yes, we both were local group members. We did not get along so well.
How was working with Mr. Feitmann?
A power-hungry bully who kisses his boss's butts and belittled his subordinates. And that's if you were on his good side. Let's say his threats shouldn't be taken lightly.
How was working under District Leader Schwarz?
He was a strict man with defined values. Easy to work under because he was so organized and knew the strengths and weaknesses of each member. The district leader returned to his office together with Mr. Kibitz. Mr. Feldman asked me to follow him. Together we walked down the corridor to the cell where the old man was kept.
I can still hear the air raid siren in my head. I remember Mom waking me up. Pack your things, get into the basement. Was your local group in contact with other local groups?
We were in permanent contact with all the other Bavarian groups.
How did you make sure you had enough electricity?
We had a generator for power outages and oil lamps.
Who prepared the cells for prisoners?
A few colleagues from the local group. It did not take much to set up. With a bucket and a mattress, it was done.
Did prisoners ever stay longer?
A couple of days maximum. They were here for interrogations.
Just a bucket and that's it?
They were prisoners.
Why did you relocate the office?
Because of the big air raid, we wanted to be underground. We hoped that we would be safer there.
What did Mr. Faltman do?
The group leader raised his voice. He told me to shoot the prisoner.
And did you shoot the prisoner?
No, I did not. The man was clearly innocent.
You did not? Really? Just like that?
Not just like that. I refused the order because the prisoner was not the man we were looking for. He was accused of... what was it again? I remember someone mentioning it.
Just a second. I have that somewhere. According to this block warden's report, Mr. Naumann had torn down a Reich flag and beaten up the block warden.
Yes, that was it. Look, the man we had captured there. I'd have counted him lucky if he was able to get out of bed every morning. Besides, group leader Faltman himself had said earlier that we had only taken him hostage. Him and Kibitz had hoped that the perpetrator would turn himself in if they held the old man hostage.
Why did they assume that?
Because the perpetrator was the son of the old man. That's what they believed, at least.
So they had hoped the son would come to get his father released?
Exactly.
But you didn't think their plan would work?
Doesn't matter what I was thinking. You can't just go and take a fellow German hostage.
How did your superior take your refusal?
Not well. He yelled, and I argued.
Do you remember your words?
I told him that it made no sense and that we should refrain from doing that. Group leader Faltman then threatened me. He said he'd report me to the Gestapo, that I would be severely punished, possibly killed.
But you still refused.
I did. I just couldn't do it. I left the room. Outside the cell, I met Kibitz, who was about to enter, a gun in his hand, cocked. The next thing I hear is the shot.
So what you are saying is that Mr. Kibitz shot him.
He did indeed. I know it.
But why would he do that? What was his reason?
What do I care about his reason? What he did was wrong. That's why I'm glad the case has been reopened. You break the rules, you get punished. That's the way it should be.
We will make sure the right people face the consequences, Mr. Schickert. Thank you for coming in.
The pleasure is all mine. Goodbye, Miss Katz.
That's all the witnesses. Let's see if I can make some sense of this.
One small old glasses, the other was a bit taller and bigger. I was in the hallway with Mr. Kibitz. Mr. Faltman and Mr. Schwartz stepped out into the hallway. The district leader ordered us to shoot the prisoner. Mr. Feldman asked me to follow him to the cell. Mr. Schwartz returned to the office, together with Mr. Kibitz. Mr. Feldman told me to shoot the suspect, but the man was clearly innocent.
So, I know it doesn't balance out the morning, but there's at least some good news today. One word, Berlin.
Did the document center come through?
Here you go. Personal files for Kibitz, Schickert, and Fatman.
Finally.
Right? Just in time. I know that you have just questioned the last witness. Have you discovered any new leads? With a few calls, I might be able to get hold of a few more urgent documents for you. But I would need to do so right now, and I can't guarantee they'll make it in time.
There's no need, Paula. Thank you. I better get back to the reconstruction board then. Estakat speaking. Hello? Anybody here? Hello? Great. Just what I needed now. Not disconcerting in the slightest.
(1946). Together with Mr. Feldman, I went to the hall. This is from Schwartz. Oh, esteemed colleague Dr. Feldman, who played our local group. My task with catching the criminal came to my office. He told me that they got the traitor and gave his report from the arrest so that I could issue official documents. I went together with Mr. Feldman out to the hallway. Crimes of this severity, I always give the same order to execute. Then told my driver to come with me to my office. The others went to the prisoner to carry out my order, as requested. It was already on the list. Okay, so they were all there. Then his driver. Owen and Mr. Schwartz. Together with Mr. Kibitz. So Mr. Kibitz was the driver. And went together with them. So it has to be the driver. Gotta prove that Kibitz is the driver. there's a lot more here. Chief Police of Berlin. Stop. Go past soldier. Folkestone. Worked as driver. Military training. Locksmith apprentice. He was kicked out that same day, so it's not. So it can't be him, because he refused the order. .65 Browning. .518.632. That's him. There's another one. Quite similar. 535.8623. 535.8623. The gun was Kibitz's. But he did work as a driver. Checker took both into the cell. Or rest. Altman didn't do it. Altman didn't resist. insubordination. Must be immediate removal. And he was dismissed. Date. That we should be following Shickards. And what was this last one? Case of Newman. And Stieg. Denunciation by his direct superior who's superior. So the local group leader. Shot with a brownie. Is it still says Shickard. Okay, everyone agrees they were in the hallway. Now, however, Kibitz would have been in the office because he's the driver. Now, Schwartz and Kibitz would be in the office. So Schickard and Altman would be in the cell. Altman wasn't recommended, so Schickard was the one who had to resist. Case Fulton would have to threaten him. Going by everything, Feltman would still be in the office. Kibitz couldn't fit in there. So he was lying the whole time. What's given order? He's still trying to place the blame on Kibitz. So
Esther Katz?
Essie, it's good to hear your voice. I hope I'm not disturbing you. I didn't like how we ended our last conversation. I know your mother's little parties are hard enough on you already. I shouldn't have brought up your work in the first place. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to lose my temper like that.
Don't worry about it, Father. I know you are just worried.
I was. I still am, but it's no excuse. With that said, I'm calling because of a different matter. It's close, isn't it? Your first trial?
yep.
I hope it goes well.
Oh, nurse. I remember that whenever I was feeling trepidation about a case, I would take a long walk by myself. I'd go over every little detail, every question, every step. It usually helped.
Thank you, Father.
But Esther, after the trial, I'm sorry, but please, please remember what we've talked about. It's not too late to leave. Nobody would think less of you.
I would like to see this through, Dad.
I see.
By the way, there's something I wanted to ask you.
Anything?
Were you ever sent threats?
That's a very specific question.
Please, Dad. It's important.
All right, well, a few times. Yes, well, with some of the less savory cases. Just don't tell your mother. She'd be worried sick. God knows that's the last thing she needs.
Less savory? What do you mean by that?
Yes, some of the more, let's say, controversial. When my clients weren't the most liked.
I just got one. A threat letter.
Ah, of course. That's much earlier than I'd have expected. I knew Bauer wasn't a good idea.
Earlier? So you expected this to happen?
At some point, yes, of course. We all,
Obviously.
or most of us at least, do, when it comes to the really bad cases. Especially in that team of Bauers, I knew it was a bad idea.
No.
This isn't about Bauer.
Right. It's not about his, and by extension your work, upsetting the public. None of this would have happened with Bergmann, Kranich and Partners.
Can we please, for once, not talk about your friend's law firm?
You're right, you're right. But this is just exactly the thing I was afraid could happen. But so much earlier than I thought it would.
What should I do? What can I do?
Nothing to do, I'm afraid. You can report it to the police, but they won't probably be of much help.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
still
a letter, a horrible
19
one, but still,
something
it's just
Germany.
paper. And some ink, I suppose. Nobody would dare to actually act against a public prosecutor. We are civilized.
You are.
Yes, just like we were civilized 20 years ago.
That's a good point. But it's different. You're a servant of the law, of justice. And for anybody who'd call himself German, that matters. It has to. As for the letter, try not to think about it, as hard as it seems. Personally, I used mine as kindling for the fireplace. No point in holding on to trash. This way it was at least somewhat useful.
Well, I better get going now. Still lots of work to do before the big day.
I understand. I'm always here for you, and also, good luck, Prosecutor Katz.
Who do I want to call? He's not picking up.
Miss Katz.
Talk to Peters. Right.
Oh, hello, Marlene. Meow.
What?
Bad time?
Not like there's any other. But yes, tell me, Katz, has anyone been to my office?
Not that I know of.
No help, unsurprisingly.
So, what is this about?
Someone was here. Just don't say anything. Someone was here, in my office, going through my documents, through my files, through my cases.
Why do you think someone was here?
I have my ways of knowing.
That's not good.
Tell me about it.
So, what can we do?
Well, Wait. You believe me? That's a new one. Huh. Thank you. I think. Right.
I know when someone
now?
rifles through my things.
I wish I
even
knew. More
if
locks?
It's put back.
I need to at least change the current ones. That's for sure.
What do you have here anyway? What's the case?
All right. It might actually be for the best if somebody else is also familiar with it. Just in case. And It's not like you can be my thief. So what's the harm?
Just in case what? You're making it very hard not to think of you as a paranoid.
Really, Cuts? You've already worked here a while. Haven't you noticed yet? How it's always the same two men in the car across the street. The same woman with the newspaper under your window. Always just happening to glance up when you look. Or that quiet sound in the background of your phone calls. If you insist on calling that paranoia, go ahead. I just suggest you get a bit more paranoid too.
Oh, Peters. Are you trying to say you trust me?
Wouldn't go that far, but this isn't the first time someone spied on my work. It started long before you joined. So, at least in this case, you're not a suspect.
I'm all ears.
What do you know about the camps?
Enough to know I'd rather not learn more.
If only we had that luxury. Imagine this. Hundreds, or even 1,000 prisoners per barrack. A block of those surrounded by electrified barbed wire. Overcrowded, makeshift wooden structures as the only place to sleep. Cold, cramped quarters. Hunger, illness, vermin, death. Children, women, old people, it made no difference. All forced to do brutally hard labor. And worse. Then there's the rest of the camp. A moat along the border, followed by 2 layers of, again, electrified fences and walls. Watchtowers along the entire length, of course.
Horrifying.
Searchlights and machine guns. And here, get to the case. Should anyone try to escape, camp guard were on strict orders to immediately shoot to kill. No warning shots, no nothing. Just kill the prisoner. Any hesitation would be punished.
But the number of such incidents is... it's far too high. It just doesn't add up.
That's... Are you sure?
I've never been so sure of anything. These prisoners, their state, their living conditions. It would have been impossible for so many of them to have tried escaping. But if you count the random murders, the beatings, the shows of power, then the numbers start making sense. And I've already heard quite a few testimonies confirming it.
What do you mean, for fun?
There was this thing some guards liked to do.
They'd grab a cap from a prisoner, be it a random one in their lineup or some poor man that looked at them wrong. Then, they would throw the cap and order him to run and get it. As soon as he did, bam, shot in an escape attempt.
And if he didn't, still, bam, shot for refusing orders.
How could they profit from this?
Rumors say for each escape attempt a guard would halt, they could be paid a bonus and receive 3 days off.
Oh,
All right, so you need to prove they lied. How do you do it?
You're thinking too small. It's not just the guard, not just what they did. It's that they were allowed to do it.
Do you really think their superiors didn't know what was happening? Do you think it was some kind of unauthorized behavior? Rest assured, it was very authorized. So yes, we need to prove they lied, that they murdered the prisoners. But more importantly, I, need to prove who knew about it and allowed it to happen.
And let me tell you, the suspect list, it's something.
Miss Katz, are you finished with the case?
I believe I'm done, yes.
Right. I'll start writing the indictment then. I hope we can get some justice here. Shall we go to court then?
Let's go to court.
once your investigation is complete, you will have to go to the court to present the case in front of a jury. The court day will automatically begin after you end the final day as usual. It can help you to prepare your conclusions and theory on the blueprint in advance, though you do not need to do so.
Miss Katz, are you finished with the case?
I believe I'm done, yes.
Right. I'll start writing the indictment then. I hope we can get some justice here. Shall we go to court then?
Let's go to court. The door is locked. Oh, hello, Marlene. Oh, I'm glad you are so cooperative. It's time.
Order. Court is in session. In the case of the German people against members of NSDAP Local Group Munich, the defendants stand accused of the murder of Hans Naumann. Judge Ernst Braun presiding, with counsel Esther Katz speaking for the prosecution. Counsel Rudolf Scham representing the defendants Kiebitz and Faltmann. And counsel Sigmund Hauptner representing the defendant Schickert. How do you plead?
Innocent.
It's not guilty.
Not guilty then.
Not guilty, of course. This whole investigation is a farce.
Not guilty, Mr. Chairman.
I call on the prosecution. Miss Katz, it's time to present your theory.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Hans Naumann was innocent. This bears repeating. Innocent. And yet he was taken from his own home and killed. Executed for another man's crimes. That this case has remained closed for so long is a clear failure of the justice system. A failure that we must put right. Mr. Chairman, on April 28th, Hans Naumann was shot dead. Taken from his house under false pretenses, he was brought to the temporary location of the district office. He was locked in a brewery cellar, a damp storage room adapted into a makeshift cell. That's where, shortly later, he would be killed. His execution was ordered by Herbert Schwarz, the district leader for the city of Munich. As the senior member of the NSDAP involved in the crime, he bears the main responsibility for Mr. Naumann's death. Mr. Schwarz is unfortunately deceased and as such cannot be tried. This does not, however, absolve his subordinates of their culpability.
Thank you, Miss Katz. Does the defense have anything to add?
No, Mr. Chairman. We agree with the version presented by the prosecution.
See, it was all Schwarz.
That's right, we were just following his orders.
Silence. Mr. Scham, please remind your defendants of the appropriate behavior in court. Let the record show that the prosecution and defense are in agreement. Let's proceed. Miss Katz.
The defendants Faltmann and Schickert went to the prisoner's cell.
Objection. As per Mr. Kiebitz's and Mr. Faltmann's testimony, both of them went to the cell, together with Mr. Schickert.
Miss Katz, can you present any evidence to support your claims?
Certainly. One suspect whose account we have not heard remains, Mr. Schwarz.
The account of a corpse. What a mumbo-jumbo.
Mr. Faltman, please refrain yourself from commenting.
Yes, Mr. Schwarz is dead, but he wasn't during the original investigation. In 1947, he testified that at the time of the execution, he was in his office together with his driver, Mr. Kiebitz. At the time, he was in no danger, as opposed to the defendants today. There is no reason to believe he lied.
Miss Katz, you've proven your point. Objection overruled. Please continue, Miss Katz.
Having seen the victim, Mr. Schickert began to question the order. As we learned from the testimonies, Mr. Norman's age and physical frailty were evident. How could this be the man? How could he be guilty? The defendants had arrested him for tearing down a flag from its flagpole and beating up an officer. A tall flagpole, a young officer. Mr. Schickert concluded the man to be innocent. He refused to shoot.
Objection, Mr. Chairman. As both Mr. Kiebitz and Mr. Faltman testified, the one to question the order was Mr. Faltman. He had doubted its validity and attempted to stop the execution. Regretfully, he was unsuccessful.
Miss Katz, if you have any proof to back your theory, now would be the time to present it.
Gladly, Mr. Chairman. A day after Hans Norman was shot, Mr. Schickert was removed from his station and expelled from the NSDAP. A punishment that follows to the letter the consequences for insubordination, as outlined by Gauleader Solbrich's order.
Indeed. Mr. Scham, your objection is overruled. Miss Katz, if you would.
With the doubts voiced, threats were soon to follow. Threats by Mr. Faltman. He wasn't going to allow for this sort of insubordination. An order was an order. If his co-defendants continued to object, he would report them. And not just to Mr. Schwarz, to the Gestapo. I trust the implications of such a report are clear.
Objection.
Every time, Mr. Scham?
We cannot truly be sure any threats were actually made. I can assure you, my client never cooperated with the Gestapo.
Exactly. The Gestapo were a bunch of sneaky sadists. Psychopaths. I've never had anything to do with those monsters.
Silence, Mr. Faltman. Silence. Miss Katz, can you present any proof to support your claim?
Certainly. Ludwig Steg was another member of the defendant's local group. Only 3 months before the events of this case, he was arrested by the Gestapo. While the acts and fate of Mr. Steg are of themselves of no direct connection to this case, I'd like to bring your attention to the beginning of the final paragraph. Mr. Steg was denounced by his direct superior. And who would that be? His local group leader, Alfred Faltman. Mr. Faltman may claim he had nothing to do with the Gestapo, but it's a lie.
Thank you, Miss Katz. Objection overruled. Miss Katz, proceed to your next point.
We've established the course of the crime up to its final moment. Only one question remains, the most important one. Who shot? Who killed Hans Naumann? Defendant Karl Schickert. He might have followed orders. He might or might not have resisted. He might have been coerced. But in the end, the truth remains the same. Karl Schickert shot and killed the victim.
I must object, Mr. Chairman.
Let's hear it.
Mr. Schickert maintains he's innocent, that Mr. Kiebitz, and not him, was the one to shoot the victim. 2 witnesses might agree, but that can hardly be considered enough to prove a man guilty, especially considering the seriousness of the crime.
Miss Katz, if you would, I will require more proof.
Certainly, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Naumann's wound was identified as resulting from a 7.65 Browning caliber. Only one of the defendants had a weapon with that caliber. An FN Browning model 1900 was given to the party member number 5186332, the defendant Karl Schickert.
Very well. I consider your claims proven. The prosecution presents a solid case. Before we proceed, Miss Katz, Mr. Scham, is there anything else you'd like to bring to this court's attention?
Yes, there is, Mr. Chairman. I was just following orders. We've heard these words today, more than once. That said orders came from Mr. Schwarz was one of the few points on which the defendants agreed. I'd like to bring your attention to another detail that their testimonies shared. At no point in any of their recollections did Mr. Schwarz himself meet the victim. It is the prosecution's belief that the district leader never knew
Yeah, they
who
had
the
the
defendants
right
had
to kill him.
brought. Schwarz didn't know the prisoner in the cell was not the man they were sent to arrest, that it was an innocent man. He couldn't know because the defendant Alfred Faltmann lied, both to his superior and to this court. Mr. Faltmann knew whom he took. He knew he was not the culprit. He had taken him as a hostage. Yet, to Mr. Schwarz, he reported bringing in Jan Naumann, the culprit. And so, believing a subordinate, Mr. Schwarz ordered the execution of, once again, Jan Naumann. The shooting of Hans Naumann wasn't legal. The defendants did not follow any order. This innocent man was killed only because of the actions, the insistence, the lies and threats of Alfred Faltmann. Mr. Chairman, the prosecution asked you to find the defendant fully culpable for this death.
Some serious accusations, Miss Katz. What motive did the defendant Faltmann have for this?
He believed that having a suspect arrested and executed so fast would help his career.
Thank you, Miss Katz. I will take this revelation into consideration. Having considered the testimonies presented today, as well as the prosecution's evidence, this court has reached the following verdict. Firstly, in the case of the defendant Karl Schickert, born January 3rd, 1912, residing at Mauergasse 4 in Munich, for the crime of the manslaughter of Hans Naumann, this court finds the defendant guilty as accessory. The prosecution proved that he did shoot the victim, but only did so when forced, having been coerced by his co-defendant. Which brings us to the, at the time, local group leader. Now, the prosecution provided this court with plenty of evidence of the local group's wrongdoings. None of them had as serious and unsettling implications as the final revelation. Defendant Alfred Faltmann, born June 29, 1889, resident of Löwenweg 11, Munich. In the case of the manslaughter of Hans Naumann, considering the overwhelming evidence of your actions and their direct effect, This court finds you guilty of coercion, perjury, and manslaughter. It stands clear beyond reasonable doubt that it was by your independent initiative that Mr. Naumann was shot. A fact of which defendant Hermann Kiebitz was fully aware and which he decided to hide from this court, making him guilty as accessory to this manslaughter by the act of omission. With that, the cost of this trial will be covered by the defendants. Court adjourned.
Justice for NS victim. Prosecution proved right on all accounts. Case solution. Investigation, 100%. Interrogation, 100%. Accessory to manslaughter, 5 years. Accessory to manslaughter, 5 years. Manslaughter, coercion, and perjury, 15 years. Real case summary contains spoilers for the solution of the case in the game. If you want to play the case again and get a better rating, we recommend to not reading the summary yet. Right, they said that this was based on real cases. Local group Alfred Feltman gathered a total of 6 men to arrest insurgents of the campaign to liberate Bavaria. Failing to find the perpetrators, they arrested Hans Naumann, other woman's suspects, instead. Feltman falsely reported to his superior, district leader Herbert Schwartz, that the arrested man was in fact one of the perpetrators. Schwartz then gave the order to execute the prisoner, believing that he was the insurgent, and the group members testified in court that they all knew of the victim's innocence. He refused to take part in the execution and left the scene of the crime, threatening his remaining subordinates. Feltman forced the execution order. Karl Schickert, who also resisted briefly, but then gave in to the threats, a second group member did not hesitate at all, shot the victim simultaneously. In 1948, Feltman, Schickert, and the second shooter stood trial for murder before the Munich Higher Regional Court. Feltman in particular denies ever having known of the victim's innocence or being present at the shooting. Alfred Feltman was found guilty of knowingly arresting an innocent hostage, lying to his superiors to issue the execution, and being present and enforcing the shooting. He was sentenced to 15 years in prison for manslaughter. The co-defendants and actual shooters were found guilty of aiding and abetting and manslaughter. They were sentenced to 4 and 5 years in prison, respectively. And it remains doubtful if they ever had to serve their time in 1949 and subsequently in 1954, the Republic of Germany enacted wide-reaching amnesty laws, freeing many members and associates of the Wehrmacht and NSDAP itself. Among them were the perpetrators of the so-called final phase crimes, such as this one. All names used in the game have been changed, some of their identities different. The real persons bear these names purely coincidental. The story remains true, and it's one of many. A number of steps of your theory you're able to prove at court. Interrogation skills are based on whether you interrupted witnesses in the right moment and came across additional information by presenting the right documents from the case file. Investigation skills are based on how thoroughly you searched the witnesses' imaginations and came across additional information.
I've heard those words many times. The courtroom may change, the faces, the clothes, the crimes. But the words stayed the same. I just followed orders. It wasn't an order that ended Mr. Naumann's life. They did. With their cowardice, obedience, pride, they all killed Hans Naumann. Men like Feldman don't believe they can be punished. They don't think they should be. All were surprised at his silence when the verdict was pronounced. Him, possibly, Most of all, he offered no resistance, no counter, no boisterous denial. For possibly the first time in his life, Alfred Faltmann didn't know what to say. Schickert was raving as they brought him out of the courtroom. So what if he pulled the trigger, he yelled. He followed orders. There, those words again. Almost as if he believed them himself. What makes a man lie? Friendship? Loyalty? Fear? What makes a man so obsessed with terms like honor or duty, simply ignore the murder of an innocent man? Not just ignore it. Allow, aid, facilitate it. For he could have stopped it. All he'd have to do was tell the truth. For he had every opportunity to stop it. Instead, he chose to kill an innocent man. They all did. They all knew what they were doing. They all knew they didn't have to. All three of them, through their actions or their inaction, they choose. Miss Naumann cried at the verdict. She thanked us. She even tried to smile. I wouldn't say it ended there for her. I don't think it ever did. And as for our Miss Cutts, the case was her victory. And it did bring her the recognition she deserved. But with recognition also comes attention. But that's a story for another day.
The Looter. So the one just strike isn't typical of democracy. Well, that's where I'm gonna end that. Thank you all so much for watching. Like and subscribe, ring that bell, and I'll see you all next time in the vault. Peace.